Hi guys, this is Vo. So I just received Pacesetter, the George Perez magazine, number 16. This is the hardcover color book, or the interior should be in color. There's a black and white version of this, as well as a soft cover version and then a digital version. And the digital version, I'm assuming, is also in color. Before we talk about that, I'm just going to give you a quick introduction to what this is. This is a fanzine. They call it magazine, but it's really a fanzine made by fans, for fans of George Perez's artwork. It used to be called the George Perez newsletter, but because it wasn't so timely, it was suggested that they change the name, and they chose Pacesetter. And if you didn't know, Pacesetter is George's nickname when he was working at Marvel Comics. He, at the time, was producing like 4 or 5 books a month. That's really unheard of if you think about the kind of quality work that an artist was producing. And to draw 3 or 4 books a month, that's unheard of. And so yeah, they gave him the nickname Pacesetter, George Perez Pacesetter. Like everybody at Marvel had nicknames like Stan the Manly, Jack King Kirby. That's his nickname. So yeah, everybody had nicknames, and they gave George Pacesetter. They later on actually changed it to Gentleman George, so because of his personality. And if you've ever met George, he is really a gentleman. And well, anyway, this book is actually kind of oversized from the previous version. And just to give you a quick tour, I'm going to give you a little trip down memory lane. Starting with number 1 of the George Perez newsletter. This is issue number 2, just the regular version. There is a variant cover, which is obviously very different. What else? Newsletter, or the George Perez newsletter, actually only lasted 3 issues, so this is the final issue. And it, strangely enough, also includes Crimson Plague, which was famously uncompleted as well. So it's fitting that they ended it on Crimson Plague. I do own every Pacesetter. I just may have misplaced them in various boxes because I found these in the Pacesetter box, and they obviously do not belong in it. These are the book. These are supposed to be rare, actually, so if you ever find these, pick it up. They're really rare, and the cover's by inked by George Perez. I have an extra copy. So here's issue number 2. Now this is very special because it's signed by George Magner. It looked like the inker. Carl Kelser, or is it Barbara? Well, one of them. And then who else? Somebody signed down here. I can't tell. But yeah, so they all appeared at Mega Con for that year, and obviously signed these books for Tony. Oh, by the way, so I was going to show you, so this is Pacesetter number 3, or George Perez newsletter number 3. I'm sorry, I'm confusing the name. So this is a regular soft cover edition, but then we have kind of like a hardbound version, but it's not done very well. So the cover looks like it's been kind of, you know, it looks like this cover, but then they cut it and then they paste it. So this must have been like a homemade project or something. And then it's hardbound by the interior. So yeah, if you ever wanted to know everything about Crimson Plague, this is really the issue to get. Here is issue number 3 of Pacesetter. I don't know what the theme of this issue is. It looks like it's just JOA versus Avengers checklist. And then some interviews with the people involved in that epic JOA/Avengers. Here's number 4. This is focused on Titans, or Teen Titans. So if you are a fan of Teen Titans, this is it. And if you order it directly from Tony, he has some autograph edition available. And this one is signed by George down here, and then it's also signed by Carol Flynn, who actually designed that wedding dress Teen Titans number 50, or Tales of the Teen Titans. And as well as she's also a character that George based on in here. Oh, we got a color of the 1996 Titans. Alright, so here is issue number 5. Not sure what the theme is, probably just his body of work. They might not have themes on many of these because they're just trying to put them out on a regular basis. This is issue number 6. This must be a Wonder Woman issue. Oh yeah, lots of... So this is issue number 10. So I'm missing 7, 8, and 9, but that's I do own them. I just don't know where they are. And it's easy enough. If you go to lulu.com, you can just order them. And this is exactly how it will look like. Okay, so here's issue number 12. It looks like a special theater issue. So this theater issue is very similar to this issue, but here's the comparison of the size. So this is the hardcover bound. It's almost like 20% larger or 10% larger than the typical soft cover. Now, if you notice the price of $10, I believe it might actually be cheaper because this is the price that they have to set when they sell through Diamond, and Diamond takes a huge cut of the profit. They take at least 30% or 40% of the profit, so they have to mark up the prices. So the cover price might actually not be reflective of what you would pay for direct. Here's issue number 13. Now this is George's niece, Milla. Yeah, so they kind of talk about her. If you ever want to know about Milla, or Camilla. Yeah, lots of Titan stuff in here. Okay, so here's number 14. Mousetrolls on the cover. This is actually a rather thin issue compared to the other issue. And then this is the 15. This is the last issue before for 16. So this came out in, let's check the date here, 2017. And this just came out in 2020, a 3-year gap. But hey, as long as we can get more George's work, I'm not complaining. Now this is a special Moonlight Players theater posters and artwork. George, I don't know if you knew, is very passionate about the theater, and he donates to them. He appears in these, and he donates his artwork and time to produce these posters and booklets that you will receive if you go to one of their showing or their plays. Now, issue 16 basically is a reprint of all of his poster work. So I do not recommend this if you're a casual George Perez fan. If you're looking for Marvel, if you're looking for DC, if you're looking for recognizable characters, it's not in here. This is strictly just for the theater, the Moonlight Theater. And I have to admit, I thought I've seen these all. I've seen all these, but I have not. There's some in here that even I have not seen. So, which means that chances are you haven't seen some of this artwork too. Okay, so on the back is more cover artwork that George has done. Now these are, I believe, given directly from George. So George provided a lot of these artwork in here. So these are full-size pages. Many of them is in color. And I believe many of these are colored by George as well, except for the ones that are noted that it's been colored by Tom Smith, for example. This is. But I believe most of these are colored by George himself. So yeah, so a lot of these I haven't seen. Or I mean, I've seen most of them, but there's some, like, once we get to the more design and stuff. For example, this Evil Dead the Musical. I've seen this artwork before. It's not based on Bruce Campbell, in case you're wondering. Bruce Campbell, George has done Army of Darkness versus Darkman, and that is based on Bruce Campbell. This must be based on the actor that appears in the musical play. So yeah, just most of it, like I said, about half the book is in color. So if you want full color. Definitely I recommend getting the color version of this. So the hardcover does have a color version. You do pay a little more because of ink and print and stuff. But if you don't mind black and white, they do have a cheaper version with just black and white. And to me, it makes sense to have it black and white because about, I would say, 60% of the book in, you're gonna, or 50, less than 50% is gonna be black and white. So starting here is gonna be all black and white. So these are unused stuff that George has kind of rough sketched out but never used. I have not seen this before. So David Mamet play. I've never even heard of this David Mamet play. But I guess for some reason they scrapped this, or they may have gone with a different design. But yeah, so some of these are pretty cool. So here's the Evil Dead one. So yeah. Other than that, like I said, these are just cover artists. There is some kind of news and some upcoming stuff and some advertisements. This is David Perez, this is George's brother. He wrote some autobiographical. So yeah, some advertisement, but most of these, 99% of this is going to be dedicated to Moonlight and the poster. And I think it's a good advertisement for them as well. So if you're ever in the Claremont, Florida area, you can always check out one of their plays. And hopefully if you go on a night, George might actually be in the audience. He does attend this regularly. And yeah, other than that, yeah, I think, like I said, I do recommend it if you're a diehard fan. If you're a diehard George Perez fan, this is really the book for you. If you're a casual fan, I'm gonna have to say you might have to pass on this. Although, I mean, you can always enjoy just the artwork, but if you're hoping for Marvel or DC, it's not in here. Yeah, so but that shouldn't even stop you from checking it out. Go to lulu.com, do a search for Pacesetter or George Perez, and some of this will pop up. So you know, check out some of the earlier issues too. I know they're not timely or dated, but the artwork is timeless. So so if you're interested in a particular theme such as Teen Titans, I think that's a really popular issue. Get that issue. That is totally worth your time and money to get that one. Other than that, thanks for watching.